Jean Piaget's theory of cognitive development is the basis of understanding how children grow and change mentally as they age. Hi guys, welcome to this channel. In this video, we explore Piaget's theory of cognitive development. If you like the content of this video, please like it and subscribe to this channel. And don't forget to press the bell icon so you're up to date on all our videos. So let's get into it. Jean Piaget proposed that children's thinking evolves through a series of stages. His theory outlines how kids move from simple, concrete thinking to more complex, abstract thinking as they grow. He believed that children actively construct their understanding of the world through their interactions and experiences. Piaget identified 4 key stages of cognitive development. These are: number 1, the sensory motor stage; number 2, the pre-operational stage; number 3, the concrete operational stage; and number 4, the formal operational stage. Each stage represents a different way of thinking and understanding the world. Let's look at these in a little more detail. Number 1, the sensory motor stage. This stage starts at birth and continues to about 2 years. In this stage, babies learn about the world through their senses and actions. For example, a baby might explore a toy by shaking it or putting it in its mouth. A key milestone in this stage is object permanence, that is, understanding that objects continue to exist even when they are out of sight. For instance, if you hide a toy under a blanket, a baby in this stage might think the toy is gone forever. By the end of the sensory motor stage, they will look for the toy under the blanket. Number 2, the pre-operational stage. This is from about 2 to 7 years. This stage is characterized by symbolic thinking and imagination, but limited logical reasoning. Some key aspects of this stage include egocentrism, where a child assumes that everyone sees the world as they do. If they cover their eyes and think you can't see them, they are displaying egocentrism. Another aspect is symbolic play. Children start using symbols and imagination, such as pretending a stick is a sword or a box is a car. This also involves animism. Animism is the belief that inanimate objects, or things that are not alive, have feelings, intentions, and qualities similar to living beings. Children start using symbolic thinking but still have difficulty distinguishing between their own perspective and the realities of the world. Imagine a young child who talks to their teddy bear and expects it to respond. They might say the teddy bear is sad because it fell off the shelf. Here the child is attributing human emotions and intentions to a toy, which is not actually capable of feeling sad. This happens because during the pre-operational stage, children are learning to use symbols and imagination. However, they haven't fully grasped that inanimate objects do not have thoughts and feelings like humans do. They project their own experiences and emotions onto these objects. Children in this stage might struggle with tasks that require logical thinking, like understanding that a tall, thin glass holds the same amount of juice as a short, wide glass. This is due to centration. Centration is the tendency to focus on one aspect of a situation while neglecting other important aspects. This concept highlights a limitation in cognitive processing. Children who are centrated might have difficulty understanding that different aspects of a problem need to be considered simultaneously. Going back to the same example, where a child is presented with 2 glasses of liquid, one tall and narrow and one short and wide, both containing the same amount of juice. When they are asked which glass has more juice, a child who is centrated might choose the tall, narrow glass simply because it appears taller, without considering that the volume is the same in both the glasses. This happens because children in the pre-operational stage focus on one dimension, which is height, and ignore the other dimension, which is width, when making their judgments. This limitation is due to their developing cognitive abilities and difficulty in performing operations that require simultaneous consideration of multiple aspects. Number 3, concrete operational stage. This stage lasts from approximately 7 to 11 years. During this stage, children start thinking logically about concrete events. We can see this in the following concepts. Conservation. Children understand that the quantity doesn't change even if the shape does. If you pour juice from a tall, thin glass into a short, wide glass, they'll know the amount of juice is the same. Classification. They can sort objects into categories and understand relationships between them. For example, they can group animals into categories like mammals and reptiles. Reversibility. They can understand that actions can be reversed. For example, if you flatten a ball of clay into a pancake shape, they recognize that it can be reshaped back into a ball. During this stage, children develop the ability to perform operations mentally rather than just physically. They begin to understand that their own perspective is not the only valid one and can think about multiple aspects of a problem simultaneously. This marks a significant advancement from the pre-operational stage's limitations. So, for example, if you give a child in the concrete operational stage two sets of objects, like different colored blocks, and ask them to sort them by color and then by shape, they can perform both tasks and understand that these are different ways to classify the same set of objects. Number 4. Formal operational stage. This typically begins around the age of 12 and continues into adulthood. It involves advanced reasoning and abstract thinking. A core aspect of this stage is hypothetical deductive reasoning, which is the ability to think logically about hypothetical situations and systematically solve problems using abstract reasoning. Let's look at these concepts in a little more detail. Thinking abstractly. Teenagers in this stage can solve problems using hypothetical situations. For example, they might think about what would happen if a law were changed and reason through different outcomes of this. Systematic problem solving. Teenagers can approach problems methodically and consider all possible solutions. If asked how to test a new science hypothesis, they can design an experiment to find out how to do it. Imagine a teenager is given a problem like what would happen if the amount of sugar in a recipe were doubled. They can use hypothetical deductive reasoning to predict outcomes like changes in taste and texture. They might test this hypothesis by actually doubling the sugar in the recipe and observing the results, or they might reason through the expected changes without performing the experiment. This type of reasoning emerges in the formal operational stage as adolescents develop the capacity to think abstractly and logically. They can consider possibilities and use deductive logic to draw conclusions, which is more complex than concrete thinking in earlier stages. Another aspect of this stage is imaginary audience. The imaginary audience is a concept where adolescents believe that everyone is as focused on them as they are on themselves. They think that their actions, appearance, and behavior are constantly being observed and judged by others. Characteristics of an imaginary audience include self-consciousness. Adolescents often feel that they are the center of attention and that others are constantly watching and evaluating them. And increased sensitivity. This belief can lead to a heightened self-consciousness and anxiety about how they are perceived by others. For example, a child might feel extremely embarrassed about a small pimple on their face and worry that everyone at school is noticing it and talking about it, even though it's likely that most people are not paying attention to it. The imaginary audience is a part of adolescent egocentrism, where young people are highly focused on themselves and their own experiences. This heightened self-awareness and concern about others' perceptions is a normal part of developing social awareness and identity. Another important aspect of the formal operational stage is personal fables. This refers to a belief that one's experiences and feelings are unique and that others cannot fully understand them. This concept is related to adolescents' sense of individuality and invincibility. Characteristics of personal fable include uniqueness, where adolescents may believe that their thoughts and experiences are unique and unlike anyone else's, and invincibility. They might also feel invulnerable to risks and consequences, believing that bad things happen to others but not to themselves. For example, an adolescent might think, nobody understands how much I'm suffering because of this breakup. No one else has ever felt this way. They might also engage in risky behaviors such as speeding while driving, thinking that they are somehow exempt from accidents or harm. Personal fables are a part of adolescent egocentrism and reflect the development of self-identity. As adolescents develop their own identity, they might feel that their experiences are exceptional and that they are invulnerable to negative outcomes. These concepts explain how adolescent cognitive development differs from that of younger children, highlighting the transition to more abstract and complex ways of thinking. Piaget determined the age ranges in his theory through detailed observations and experiments with children. For instance, he noticed that younger children consistently failed conservation tasks while older children succeeded, leading him to define the age ranges for each stage. Piaget's theory has some criticisms and limitations, which include underestimating abilities. Some researchers believe that children develop certain skills earlier than Piaget proposed. For example, recent studies suggest infants may have object permanence skills earlier than Piaget thought. And cultural biases. Piaget's research was based on children from Western cultures, which might not account for variations in cognitive development across different cultures. Piaget's theory has influenced educational practices by emphasizing the importance of developmental stages. Teachers often design curricula that align with the cognitive abilities of students of different ages. For example, young children are given hands-on learning experiences to match their concrete operational thinking, while older students are encouraged to engage in abstract reasoning and problem solving. Piaget's theory differs from other theories of development. His theory focuses on stages of individual cognitive development, while theories of others like Vygotsky's socio-cultural theory emphasizes the role of social interaction and cultural context. Vygotsky believed that cognitive development is largely influenced by social interactions and guidance from more knowledgeable others, contrasting with Piaget's focus on developmental stages. Piaget's theory provides a framework but may not account for all individual differences. While the stages offer a general guideline, children may progress through stages at different rates based on various factors like cultural background, education, and individual experiences. Schemas play a significant role in Piaget's theory. Schemas are mental structures that help us organize and interpret information. There are two aspects to this. Number one, assimilation. When a child learns the word dog and then calls a cat a dog, they are assimilating new information into an existing schema. Accommodation. When the child learns that cats and dogs are different, they adjust their schema to accommodate this new knowledge. Piaget's theory primarily focuses on childhood development, but some aspects like problem solving and abstract thinking can be relevant to adult cognitive development. However, Piaget's stages are generally not extended into adulthood. Piaget's theory can be very useful to parents and educators, and they can use this theory to tailor learning activities by providing age-appropriate activities that match the child's cognitive stage. For example, use concrete objects and hands-on activities with younger children and abstract discussions with older children. They can also encourage exploration by supporting children's active learning and discovery by allowing them to experiment with different solutions to a problem. In conclusion, Jean Piaget's theory offers valuable insights into how children's thinking evolves through different stages. By understanding these stages and applying Piaget's concepts, parents and educators can better support and nurture cognitive development in children. So that's it for this video. If you're looking for quality mental health resources and worksheets, please visit my Etsy shop. The link is provided in the description box below. Once again, if you like the content of this video, please like it and subscribe to this channel. And don't forget to press the bell icon so you're notified when the next video comes out. As always, thanks for watching.